Some musicians are getting penalized just for singing a melody or playing a specific track because the platforms decide they shouldn't. It sounds insane, right? Like soon we won't even get to fall in love genuinely because our emotions will be flagged and monetized. But maybe that's already happening subconsciously. If we rely so much on curated feeds and perfect algorithms, do actual messy human connections ever stand a chance? And speaking of curation, there are now fully formed AI companionship robots starting to hit the shelves, beautifully programmed partners ready to chat. You think kids aren't going to dive headfirst into those things? Trying to stop technology saturation in young minds feels exactly like telling someone not to look at Instagram 20 years ago. Are we actively choosing to evolve away from empathy? Trading depth for seamless machine interaction? Maybe looking at differences like autism as just a deficit misses the bigger picture. Maybe it's actually a required adaptation skill set for whatever bizarre future we're building. Then the scope widens terrifyingly fast to power. There's something profoundly unsettling about watching a tiny fraction of people hoard unimaginable wealth and total authority, mirroring old eras of unchallenged dogma flooding social spaces. On the economic side, I hear sharp critiques aimed at governments trying to slap huge wealth taxes on people. The logic seems simple: punish success, watch the big players pack up and go somewhere friendlier. Meanwhile, we see dizzying leaps in tech development, juxtaposed against gargantuan civil engineering feats, like China's Hyperloop networks. Yet, beneath all this shiny advancement, basic necessities crumble. Look at the negligence creeping into critical jobs like transport security. This brings us straight into geopolitics, where the outrage gets visceral. How dare privileged folks sit safely indoors advocating for war, while others are facing down bullets? Veterans tell me clearly nobody makes decisions about mass violence without understanding the dirt, the chaos, the absolute terror of boots on the ground. Look at cases like Iran, transforming from seeming stability to volatility, heavily shaped by outside forces protecting ancient energy pipelines. Society itself feels brittle. Poor diet, weak healthcare. These don't just cause sickness, they erode the communal backbone needed for any meaningful uprising. People feel anxious individually, yes, but collectively, we've settled into a quiet kind of numbness. Some whisper about orchestrated mind manipulation, and honestly, if that starts inside our own governing bodies, it chills you to the core. But here's where purpose cuts through the noise. Forget chasing approval. True satisfaction doesn't come from likes or applause. It comes from pouring your absolute best into something, period. That relentless pursuit of perfection, whether in code or creativity, is the engine. Take comedy, for instance. Real laughter needs reciprocity. It can't survive in a cutthroat contest where someone always loses. Venues exist precisely because they provide that safe space for rough ideas to mature into brilliance. And let's talk about the foundations of belief. History demands honesty. Calling explorers heroes conveniently glosses over systematic atrocity, deliberate maiming and slaughter inflicted on indigenous cultures for mineral wealth. Similarly, when we examine modern hotspots, we have to ask hard questions about border controls. Can we afford to treat migration streams as anything other than a spectrum, requiring immediate, sober vetting? Because ignoring the threat lurking in shadows overseas means accepting that it absolutely finds its way home. We live in a feedback loop where distraction reigns supreme. Constant stimulation keeps us gazing upward at screens instead of noticing the staggering immensity of the cosmos overhead. Our obsession with synthetic luxuries blinds us to the sublime indifference of the stars. Technology promises infinite knowledge, sure, thanks to AI assistance, but does mastering computation help us grasp interconnection? Quantum mechanics hints at it, everything being fundamentally linked, but most of us are too busy worrying about quarterly earnings or viral trends to notice. Ultimately, this whole mess suggests radical metamorphosis. Humanity isn't failing, it's morphing into something unrecognizable, accelerated by chemicals, commerce, and convenience. Corporations act as immune systems, prioritizing shareholder returns over inconvenient truths, eroding our biology along the way. So, what do? Stop seeking comfort in easy answers. Demand transparency. Insist on friction. Find pockets of pure unmediated creation, build communities where support outweighs sabotage, and maintain the fierce internal discipline to keep thinking critically, long after the algorithm tells you what to feel. Check out Profile for podcast summaries,